Hello friends, welcome back to okayazure. In this video we'll learn how to create virtual machine image. Sometimes we also call it create a custom image of a virtual machine or generalizing a virtual machine. It is the same concept. Alright, let's move forward. For example, there is a company called RV Games and the company has got few more gaming projects. So just to complete or just to work on those new projects, company has hired 50 more developers. Now they have to build a machine for each single developer, right? So basically they have to go ahead and create a virtual machine. They have to go ahead and deploy all the required tools or software, servers, database server, configuration, some graphics tools and all, right? So now because they have got 50 new developers, so they have to repeat the same process. They have to go ahead and create a new virtual machine and again just go ahead and deploy all the set of tools. Just go ahead and make the same set of configuration on each single virtual machine. So basically they are doing some repetitive task. They are creating a virtual machine and then making same configuration on each single machine. So just by creating single virtual machine and then making or installing same sort of tool on each machine, they can build the machine. But now here we know the problem because like on each single machine, they're doing same sort of task. Right? Now to overcome this particular problem, we have something called generalizing a virtual machine or create a custom image of a virtual machine. Say, for example, you have one standard machine, one standard virtual machine having all these set of tools, softwares, configuration, everything, right? So once you are done with the one standard virtual machine, what you can do is simply go ahead and create an image of that particular virtual machine. Now, once you have the image, you can make use of this image to create multiple virtual machines or identical virtual machines having all set of tools and softwares and configurations which were there in the standard machine. So here you just need to go ahead and create the new virtual machine. You don't have to worry about the tools, about the configuration and all. I believe you have got the idea of what is generalizing a virtual machine. All right, let's move forward. Now let's talk about warnings. So the very first one is that you need to go ahead and run this particular tool called Sysprep. If you create an image from a virtual machine that has not been generalized, any virtual machines created from that image won't start. So this is the prerequisite. You need to go ahead and run this particular tool called Sysprep. This tool will make your virtual machine generalize. All right. Now, second warning, what it says that capturing a virtual machine image will make the VM unusable. This action cannot be undone. So what does it mean? Let's say for example you have a virtual machine and you have created an image out of that particular virtual machine. Once you have captured the image, you cannot reuse that particular virtual machine. But yes, you can make use of this particular image to create n number of virtual machines. Alright, so capturing a virtual machine image will make the virtual machine unusable, so you cannot reuse that particular VM anymore. Alright, let's move forward. Steps to create an image. First one, we need to go ahead and run this particular tool called Sysprep. Then we need to deallocate the virtual machine and then we need to capture the image. Alright. Okay, so now we'll go to the portal.azure.com and then we'll create a virtual machine image. So I'm here at the Azure portal and if I go to virtual machines, I already have a VM created, which I created in my last video, and I have installed an IIS also on this particular VM. So my virtual machine already has a server installed on it. All right. Now, if you guys are new and if you do not have any VM, you can just watch this video. Go ahead and create a new virtual machine and install IIS on that particular virtual machine. All right. Now let's see how to create an image of a virtual machine. So the very first step is to install Sysprep on the virtual machine. So I'll copy the public IP address. I'll do mstsc. Let me hit enter. So I'm just trying to access the virtual machine. Okay. So now I'm here. What I will do is I'll go to C drive. Then I think I'll go to Windows, System 32, and there should be a tool called Sysprep. It's here, right? Now you can see this executable here, right? Sysprep. So what I will do is I'll simply double click on this one. I'll enable this particular option called generalize, and here under shutdown options, I'll go ahead and simply pick shutdown. Let me click on OK. So Sysprep is working. I think it will take just a minute or maybe less than that. It depends on the tools which you have on your virtual machine. So basically this is my blank virtual machine and it just has IIS, nothing else is there. Alright, so as soon as your sysprep is done, it will disconnect. Now step 2. So here we are done with this step 1. Now we need to stop this particular virtual machine. So now here I will run the command to stop this particular virtual machine, and the command is stop as it, which is test VM. I also need to supply the resource group name, which is test-rg, and I'll type force to stop the virtual machine or to deallocate the virtual machine. All right, so it's done. You can see here status succeeded. Okay, so now let's go and create the image. So here we have an option called capture. So I'll simply go ahead and click on the capture. Here we need to pass the image name. So I'll call it as test VM image, group as is, and it says there's an option if you want to delete this particular virtual machine, you can simply check this particular checkbox. Okay, but for now I'll leave this as is and machine name. So I will type the VM name test VM and click on. Now you see here creating image. It won't take much time. It says successfully created image. Okay, now to find out your image, what you can do is you can go ahead and click here on this particular link, or in the search bar you can simply go ahead and type images. So here is our image which we just created. All right, now you can make use of this particular image to create virtual machines. All right, so that we'll see in a short while, but before that, let's go ahead and try to access our virtual machine that we used to create the virtual machine image. So here is our test VM. Now if I go ahead and try to start this particular virtual machine, let's see what happens. So I've clicked on the start and you can see the message here. It says failed to start virtual machine test VM error. Operation start VM is not allowed on VM test VM since the VM is generalized. All right. Now we cannot make use of this particular VM. We cannot even access. Now let's go ahead and use our image to create a new virtual machine. So what I will do is I'll simply go ahead, click on test VM, and here you can see an option to create a virtual machine out of that particular image. I'll simply click here. Okay, resource group. I have to give the test VM name. So I'll call it as dev VM01. And I'll keep, so here you see images section right here. If you click on this one, you will see other images as well from Azure. But here you will also see your image, the one which just created test VM image. So we are going to use this particular image to create our test VM virtual machine. Oh, sorry, dev VM virtual machine. Size, let me just go ahead and select something from here. I'll simply go ahead and select cheap. Now I have to create the username. Okay, Azure. I just need to put the password. Now the next process is exactly same the way you create a virtual machine. The only difference is here we are using our customized image. Okay, for now I'll simply says license type Windows Server, and I'll simply click on next now. So I'm expecting a virtual machine here, a new virtual machine called test dev VM01. Okay, so here I'll wait for a minute. Deployment is in progress. All right, now we have our VM ready. Let's go to the virtual machine. So here it is, dev VM01. Now I want to access the IIS, but before that we need to go to the networking, and let's go ahead and enable the port 80 inbound port. I'll keep source destination as is, but I want to give the port number as 80 TCP. I'm okay with the priority as well, and everything I'll keep as is. Simply go ahead and click on add. So basically I'm enabling port number 80 so that I can access the IIS which is there on this particular virtual machine. Okay, so here now you can see port 80 has added. It's enabled for us. Now, if you guys remember that we haven't installed anything on this particular virtual machine, but if I go ahead and try to access IIS, here it is. Why? Because the virtual machine image we have used already had IIS installed. So this is the good part of customization or creating an image of a virtual machine, so that you don't have to go ahead and deploy or install or configure the same thing again and again on each single virtual machine. You just go ahead and prepare one standard virtual machine, create an image out of that particular virtual machine, and then you can use that image to deploy n number of virtual machines having same sort of configuration. All right. In case if you have any doubt, just let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching.